So your favorite celebrity just launched a new supplement. It's got nice branding, an expensive price tag, and everyone seems to be buying it. The problem is, most people don't know how to check whether a supplement is effective. They're led by hype marketing rather than evidence. So in this video, I'm going to break down how you as a consumer can navigate the 2026 supplement market with confidence and build a lean, effective stack that works. So let's first touch on why you should even take supplements. And there's only a few plausible reasons for this. So firstly, to correct a known nutrient deficiency. Secondly, to get a small health or performance boost. Third, to have an insurance policy. So this is where you think you have a deficiency, but you're not quite sure. So multivitamins commonly fall into this bracket. And last, maybe just to experiment. Maybe there's a supplement you want to try that only has weak human evidence behind it. And there's no harm in a bit of this. Now, supplements are a topic that come up in my practice quite a lot, which is really why I'm making this video, but they're not something I really emphasize unless the individual fits into the first bracket where they have a known nutrient deficiency. With that, the effect of a supplement is by definition going to be quite small, which you maybe wouldn't think given how aggressive supplement claims and marketing tend to be. This brings us to problem number one. My general rule here is to completely ignore supplement marketing. The longer you spend observing this market, the more you notice a strong correlation between companies spending big on marketing and their product not being very good. Now, I have the fortune or misfortune of knowing a lot of dietary supplement marketers, and they are not made equal. You have some who are probably the shittiest people you would ever come across, who will flat out lie about what their product does just to sell it, while you have others who are very by the book and just want to bring an evidence-based, well-tested, well-dosed product to market. Supplement companies also tend to have a key influential person promoting the brand at the center of the business, or an army of smaller influencers and affiliates promoting them, which you see a lot on TikTok Shop, both of which are very difficult to trust as they're typically getting paid. So for simplicity, when supplement ads appear, I just skip them. Which brings us on to problem two. Lots of brands spend so much of their budget on marketing that they often neglect the actual formulation. One very common way this manifests is through the use of proprietary blends, where instead of dosing per ingredient, the supplement company uses multiple ingredients for one dose, which is a big efficacy and safety concern. So my rule here is don't buy supplements with multiple ingredients for one dose. Problem three is closely tied to problem one, and it's influencers setting unrealistic expectations of what supplements can do. Typically, they'll use lots of personal anecdotes and stack benefits with words like optimize to exaggerate how effective the supplement has been for their own lives.
I've been drinking AG1 for as long as I can remember. It is the best all-in-one drink.
I think if someone is saying that taking electrolytes is life-changing, they're probably a bit of a helmet and not to be trusted. Problem four is nutrition literacy. I made a video last year on how to read and understand dietary supplement labeling, which I'll link above. It's probably worth watching if you struggle with this. So labels can look intimidating, but they're actually fairly easy to interpret if you try. So my belief here is that a non-insignificant portion of the population either don't know how to read a label or just don't really bother. The last problem is testing. You need to triple check who's doing third-party testing of your supplements. And by that, I mean an independent lab, not the supplement brand, verifying that what the supplement brand says is in the bottle is in it. Now, if you're buying from 10 different brands, this can be frustrating, which is why opting for 1 to 2 primary brands that you're familiar with and have thoroughly vetted for their testing practices is my go-to recommendation. The last thing I'll say on this is you need to be very careful of cheap brands on Amazon and TikTok Shop. A lot of these brands are white labeled and won't have gone through any third-party testing. And this is reflected repeatedly in the results from Now Foods testing program, where supplements sold on Amazon often contain none or very little of the active ingredient that's stated on the label. That's not to say that supplements on Amazon and TikTok are fraudulent. It's likely just a significant percentage of them. Fortunately, there's an easy way to solve these problems, and that's just by using a simple framework. So this is typically the one I recommend, where you start by reviewing the testing practices. Now, at a bare minimum, do the third-party test. That's what you should be looking for. If they don't third-party test, I'd actually recommend against buying them. If they do, then move up the pyramid to dosing. Here, all you need to do is check if there's one dose per ingredient. If there isn't, again, I'd recommend against buying. So your supplement now is third-party tested, and there's one dose per ingredient. Now you want to move up the pyramid and ensure the ingredient has been studied in humans for the dose you're taking. To do this, I'd head to examine.com, type in the name of the ingredient, and see if it's well studied in humans and if there's any research on the outcome you're interested in. And if that checks out, move up the pyramid to pricing, where you make an independent judgment call on whether you think the supplement is worth the investment. Once you're familiar with the framework, you next want to apply it to your own context. So feel free to gather your supplements and do this exercise with me. Let's start at the base. What testing practices do your supplement companies adhere to? Most companies will readily have this information available on their website, so you should be able to find it pretty quickly using Perplexity or any AI assistant. Is there a clear dose listed on the supplement's packaging for each ingredient, i.e., one ingredient, one dose? What's the dose listed on the supplement per serving? And is that in the dose range that Examine recommends for the outcome you want? What ingredient or ingredients are listed on the supplement? Have they been repeatedly studied in humans? And what were the outcomes? And lastly, what's the price? Once you've critiqued your own stack, what I typically recommend is building your own simple AM/PM routines, with the main reason for this being adherence. Adherence is a huge factor in consumers not seeing the outcomes they want from supplements, even when they are effective. So having routines in place is fairly useful. And what also ties in nicely is keeping it lean. If you ever listen to a Michelin star chef talking about their cooking, they'll often refer to subtraction, where they really just want to emphasize leveraging fewer but better ingredients. And I think this is useful framing for building a supplement stack as well. I'm going to give you a snapshot of my typical supplement stack, just so you can see what a lean stack looks like. So in my AM routine, I take creatine monohydrate for the small performance boost in the gym, a good multivitamin and mineral, just as an insurance policy, vitamin D3, as we don't get a lot of sun in Ireland in the winter, omega-3 to make up for the lack of it in my diet, L-theanine, which I only take when I really want to focus, and some caffeine just from black coffee. For PM, it's lean as well. All I take is a clear protein powder, which helps me hit my protein intake. If I wanted to experiment with adding in another supplement, I test one at a time and ensure that there's at least some human data supporting the outcome I want. Now, if you can fight the urge to click onto the next video, I'd recommend going back over what we've discussed, take a few screenshots of what points resonated with you, and apply the framework to your own context. If you do this, I guarantee it'll save you a ton of time and money over the next few decades, where you can keep spiking hundreds of dollars on greens powders and electrolytes. It's up to you.